What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Fantastically Geeky Cosplay. So my guest today is not just a cosplayer, she's also a great artist and a photographer. So I would like to welcome my very good friend, Rebzdeladisco.
Hello! It is so great to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am so excited. And that video was so beautiful. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to have you on with me. It's really awesome getting to talk to you.
I agree entirely.
So, how are you doing?
You know what? It's a good day so far. I had some emails and meetings for work earlier, but then I went to the gym. I kind of got centered and now I'm here with you having a nice chat and it's going to be great. So how about you? How was your day today?
Kind of like you, work was kind of busy. So, but I'm off now. So
good times. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, like past shows, we're just going to go through all the questions and just talk cosplay and other geeky stuff. So
perfect. That sounds great to me.
Let's do it. All right. So first question is, what got you into cosplay?
Okay. Well, I have loved Halloween since I was a child. I was the kind of kid that would plan my costume for the next 2 years after that Halloween, and like I was really on it. I've always loved it. And then my first New York Comic-Con was in 2015, and that was the first convention that I'd been to where I cosplayed. And my first cosplay was Sailor Mercury, made with help from my friend's mom. And it was a little rough on my part, but I had such a great time. And I really just fell in love with it. And you know, every Comic-Con after that, I sort of would go and I would cosplay, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until 2018. And that's when I really started going to more cons besides New York Comic-Con. I went to Anime NYC for the first time. I met the amazing cosplayers getting coffee at New York Comic-Con, and they invited me to a shoot where I got to meet a bunch of other cosplayers, and that's kind of where my journey started. So from 2018 to now, I've done, so many cosplays, and I've had a real great time and met lovely people like yourself, so that's a big plus for me.
Yeah, it is definitely awesome getting to meet people with similar interests, and that's kind of what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I agree entirely. Yeah.
Like, do you have like a creative process when you're starting cosplay?
I certainly do. So I forgot to actually mention this in the question prior to this, but I have a degree in theater with a focus on acting and costume design. So especially for the costume design portion of things, this is really like up my alley with that. So I guess the first thing that I would do when starting a cosplay is I always sketch it out. It's like my thing. I have to get it out of my head and onto the paper, or notepad or whatever I choose to do it on. But then from there, I always, I kind of see from there, what am I going to make? What am I going to buy? And I'm a firm believer that time is money. So there are plenty of things that I buy for my cosplays and not make them. I love to make, but there are just times where it's really not feasible. And then I also see, you know, what I have and what I can reuse for that particular cosplay, especially when it comes to wigs or even like contact lenses. You definitely don't want to have to keep buying those. And then from there, I'll do a makeup test if it's like a heavy makeup cosplay or someone where I want a really specific makeup look. I try everything on, well, at least one time to make sure everything's working together, all the colors are working, everything's fitting properly, make any changes that are necessary, and then good to go. So yeah, That's really how I start. And I think too, the sketch for me, it just puts my mind at ease, because when I find that when I don't sketch it out, I kind of feel scattered, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not it's not cohesive for me. But once I sketch it out, I always draw little lines like, okay, shirt, skirt, socks, shoes, wig. And I write, can buy this, or need to get brown wig from such and such place, or, these shoes, can use these shoes for that. So that just really helps my creative process 100%. Yeah. And I do it for every cosplay. Even ones where I buy the entire thing, I do it for every cosplay. So that's what I do.
Yeah, you kind of sound like me, because I like to sketch things out too, because it just helps, I think.
I think so too. I've seen your art. I know. Right. Yeah, it is. And I think when you're an art-minded person like you and I are, I think that it like I said, it's part of our process, and it really helps us. So keep going with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite convention? Because I know you a lot.
I love them all for different reasons. I think that's the hardest thing. I could name like a top 4 maybe, but I really love Colossal Con East. I have to say, I love Colossal Con East. It's actually at a water park. It's at the Kalahari, which is an indoor water park in the Poconos, and it's just so chill. It's so fun, and you get to kind of explore your creative side, because it's, you're wearing a bathing suit for most of it, because it's in a water park. So it's like, okay, well, if this character were going to be wearing a bathing suit or a swim kind of style apparel, or even like a beachy ensemble, what would it be? What would it look like? So for me, that's always been a really fun opportunity to, again, flex those creative muscles and try something a little bit more casual. Throw on the wig and the contacts and the outfit and go have a blast. So that's wonderful. And then I love KatsuCon, because so many people from all over come to Katsu, and that's where you really see some of the best when it comes to cosplay. And there are so many inspirational creators that bring their big builds there, and it's so beautiful to see. Can't wait for Katsu 2022. So excited. And then the New York cons, Anime NYC and New York Comic Con, that's where the local crew comes out, and that's really special. And New York Comic Con was my first convention, where I was cosplaying like that. So it's kind of a nostalgic con for me, and it's just, so those are my top 4, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot that I would love to go to, NYCC being one of them, and I've actually thought about possibly going to Katsu this year. So
I say go for it. It really is awesome. And I think that people often think, oh, I can only shoot like indoors at the gazebo, but there are a lot of really cool outdoor locations too. And there's also Nando's Peri Peri Chicken in that area where KatsuCon is. And who doesn't want Nando's? Who doesn't want delicious chicken, right? Who doesn't want that? I'm motivated by food. So, after a long day of cosplaying, I'm like, KatsuCon, so fun. Nando's at KatsuCon, even better. So if you go to Katsu, you'll know what I mean. Great.
Gotcha. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably should have put these in a different order, but
oh, that's okay.
Oh, just go with it.
Yeah. Cosplay pet peeves.
Yeah.
Well, I think some of the kind of obvious stuff is like, I really don't like when people are mean to other people, based on their cosplay, or when people say you can't dress up as a certain character for this reason or another. And obviously that's not including like, you don't want to be culturally appropriating or dressing in a way that's, in blackface or racist kind of cosplay. We don't want that. That's not what I mean. I mean, if you're a different body type than the character, or, you choose not to wear a wig or something. Everybody cosplays differently, and I'm a firm believer in that. And at the end of the day, we're all people that dress up as superheroes and anime characters for fun. Like we're all nerds. We're all in this together. We can't be divided. We have to all stand together. And I guess this is kind of a funny pet peeve, but I've noticed that sometimes as cosplayers, we forget to iron our cosplays, and you could have the most beautiful cosplay photo, and then there's like a really wrinkly portion, and I'm like, please guys, like iron your cosplays. I'm telling you, it's like my one thing. And I mean, obviously, if you can't iron it, it's not a big deal. This is just my thing. If I haven't ironed my cosplay and then I go and take a picture and I'm like, oh, I didn't iron it. Oh God, I can see the wrinkles. And sometimes you pull them out of the bag from Amazon. Let's be real. We all order stuff off Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Pull it out of the bag and it's like crinkled and you're like, oh man, I really gotta try to hang it up or something, try a little something. So try to iron your stuff, guys. I promise it'll look better in the pictures if you iron it. It helps with fit too. So, but that's my it's like my kind of funny and not really a pet peeve, but kind of a pet peeve. But it's more just like, please do this. Your photos will come out better if you iron your costumes.
See, you have a fan.
Oh, hi, hello there, Miss Rebecca. You cosplay is the most beautiful. Oh, Poison. Getting some love for Poison Ivy. Thank you very much. Poison Ivy is actually my first DC cosplay that I've worn to a convention. And I'm so happy. People really were very receptive to it. They were like, oh, your Poison Ivy looks great. And I kind of did my own design for Poison Ivy. So that was really cool and fun. So thank you very much to Izanagi-kun, I think that was, who wrote in. Yeah. Thank you very much for the message. So yay.
All right. While we're talking about cosplays, I know this is a hard question. I'm sorry.
Another hard one. Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna have to name a couple. I mean, the S is in parentheses. Yeah. I can name a couple.
That's why I put it.
Thank you, because trying to choose one would have been a real nightmare for me. I would have had probably some kind of attack and just would have not been very good. I have loved cosplaying as Shinobu from Demon Slayer. I'm big anime fan, and I've really enjoyed that. Just for some reason, wearing her always makes me feel really elegant. Even though her outfit might not kind of give that impression because she's a demon slayer, but there's just sort of this elegance that I feel in my own kind of self and presence when I wear her, and that makes me really happy. I love being Clea Strange with my boyfriend Jake as Doctor Strange, probably because no one really knows who she is unless you're a comic head. And they're like, oh, who is that walking around with Doctor Strange? And I'm like, oh, I'm Clea Strange, Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. And they're like, who is this? And then I get to kind of tell them about Clea, and it's really cool. And it's one that we get to do together, so that's really special. Love dressing up as Maria Hill. It's really comfortable. Great in the winter because it's nice and warm. It's actually a fleece-lined wetsuit. For anyone who's curious, Maria Hill, my outfit for her is a fleece-lined wetsuit, so it's really nice and warm. Yeah, and she's just cool. And I can use my own hair for it, which is great. I've loved being Poison Ivy most recently, as well as Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. And then I cosplay a lot of Naruto characters, but Sakura and Tamari are definitely my favorites. I like cool ladies. Love cool, badass fighting ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they are awesome.
And all those cosplays you just named are like some of my favorite cosplays of yours.
Oh, actually. Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, and now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I like that character too. oh, and I like this one, but I'll keep it to just those for now. And you know, of course, that I think that list changes depending on my mood. I think that would change for anybody.
Yeah.
But
I'm the same way.
yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. I know it's. I think too, when you wear a cosplay, you feel different. Do you feel like that too?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you're kind of maybe your way of thinking and the way you move and the way you speak sometimes. You know, it changes when you wear it, not only because physically you're wearing maybe different footwear or different clothing, but also because you're feeling the presence of that character kind of in your body. Oh, sorry about the phone just now. But it's like living in a house, right? You know, what could you do? It's all good. So yeah, I think that I feel a real heart connection to some of these awesome ladies I cosplay, and I think that's also why some of them are my favorite. And also some of them have capes, and who doesn't love a good cape? Cape supremacy. Capes are great. So
yeah. Yeah, I think that's like one of the reasons why like some of like with my quick cosplay, for example, that's one of the well, first of all, it was my first cosplay, and like I think we tend to have like a lot more fun when we cosplay as characters that we really connect with and that we really love. So it definitely makes things better.
I've also kind of felt, and this is, I think, contrary to what a lot of, or maybe many cosplayers feel, I have found sometimes that if I like the look of a character without knowing anything about them, Dagger was one of those characters for me. I thought that she was really cool. I was asked to do her for a big Marvel shoot that was happening, and I didn't really know anything about Dagger. And then I kind of did my research, a little bit more. And I fell in love with her because it was prompted not from, I love this character, therefore I will cosplay them. It's, I am cosplaying this character and now I have come to really love and appreciate them. So I think that if, like I said, if you like the look of someone, of a character in particular, go for it. I think people will often try to kind of be gatekeepers or say like, oh, you're not a fan of this thing, so you can't cosplay from it. It's like, that's not 100% true. You know, obviously you want to do a little research on the character just to kind of know about them, but you really appreciate the look of them and the way that you feel, you know, when you wear it, go for it. That's what I say. So yeah. Yay.
Yeah. So how do you like being part of the New York Avengers?
I love being in the New York Avengers. Not only are they my friends, you know, we're like a little cosplay family. We just did a panel at New York Comic Con all together, so that was really fun. But I feel like something that's just so wonderful is that you really get to see the joy, and you see when you give back, you can literally see it with your own eyes, just how happy and meaningful the experience is for people. And sometimes it's not because we help, you know, or we go and up to the hospitals and places in our local community, and we volunteer with sick children or with children that might not have the same access to things as other children do. You know, maybe they're a little bit more poor, or they don't have, like I said, they just don't have the same access to things as other children do. So when you are their hero, you know, when you're dressed as, I've done Squirrel Girl with the Avengers, for example. When you're dressed as Squirrel Girl and you get to high five them or give them a smile or give them a hug if they, you know, if that's okay with them, the joy in their face just warms my heart. And it just means so much to be able to give in a way that's not always monetary. You know, I think while I agree, I 100% think that monetary donations are important, and so many of the things we do wouldn't be possible without that. I think that giving in your time and with your presence and your smiles and your friendship and your warmth, that gives a different kind of joy and meaning, and it's very special. So
yeah,
I recall one experience. We went to Ronald McDonald House. I was actually dressed as Belle because sometimes we integrate princesses into our group as well. And there was one girl, she kept coming up to me and she's like, oh, Belle, you know. And I asked her mom, there was we had just finished eating dinner, all of us together. And then there was kind of like a party upstairs. And I said, you know, is it okay if I take her upstairs? And she said, oh, absolutely, go for it. And I came to learn that she was not the sick child. It was actually, I believe it was her sister. And we FaceTimed with her sister. And just to know that I was able to give, even though she wasn't the child that was actually in the hospital suffering, you know, this was her sister who was suffering. And, you know, that alone, just to be able to bring a smile to her face was meaningful to me because, you know, just because they're not the sick child doesn't mean that they don't feel sadness or don't feel upset that their sibling is suffering, you know. And even for the parents being able to take the child for a little bit and make them smile, you know, that means a lot to me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think what you guys do is just amazing. And
thank you. We'll have you over for one of the events sometime. That would be fun. Yeah. Definitely.
I'd be honored.
Of course. So
we got Freaky Louie, who's also a cosplayer.
Yay. Hello. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you. You spelled Rebs correctly. So many people spelled R-E-B-S. I always spelled it with a Z. So thank you very much. Louie, right? You said Louie? Yeah.
Louie, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Louie. I'm sorry. Thank you, Louie. I appreciate you. That's awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure like getting to share the cosplay experience with Jake means a lot to you too.
It really does. I'm lucky that cosplay allowed me to meet him, you know, and all of our friends, our extended friends and whatnot that have really become like family. But I think especially for him and I, you know, we were at the gym earlier and we're doing our exercises and we're like, okay, what's going to be our lineup for Anime NYC? And just that we're both so passionate about it. And the fact that we can discuss it together and do it together, you know, is really, really wonderful and special. And I think that we complement each other in different ways. He often kind of brings me back down to reality of like, babe, you know that you don't have enough time to do that. And I'm like, but what if I did? And he's like, Rebecca. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Yes. Also for him, I'm like, I bring kind of the crafting element and he's like, I don't know where to find this thing. And I'm like, let's make it. We can make it and do this. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. You know, so I think we complement each other in different ways. And he's introduced me to so many characters and I've introduced him to so many characters. I've gotten him to like Studio Ghibli. Yes. So it's been great. And you know, even when we travel now, we just went to Canada recently. Shout out to Montreal. Woohoo. And we were able to do a shoot up there, a cosplay shoot, and it was so fun. And you know, I can't think of anyone else that I would rather be doing that with, you know, being able to and to not feel weird about being like, oh, let's do a cosplay shoot while we're up in Canada. I mean, who else would do something like that, right? So yeah, it's very, very special.
That's awesome. I really love you guys as Clea and Doctor Strange.
Thank you. I do too. That's actually our first couples cosplay. Fun fact. Regardless of anime or superheroes or anything, that is the very first couples cosplay. And it feels special because of that, I think. And I love his Doctor Strange. I love it so much. And to kind of be able to explore my kind of darker magical side as Clea is always just awesome. And he fosters the love for that 100%. He's like, yeah, babe, remember, you're the sorcerer supreme of the dark dimension. You could do it. I'm like, okay, yes, I can. So It works out.
Bring out your dark side.
Exactly. Just a little bit, right? Yeah.
All right. Where was I here?
That's good. That's all good.
All right. So while we were talking about like looking for different cosplay materials, where do you normally look?
Well, I won't even lie. I get a lot from Amazon. I do. I buy a lot off Amazon. Yes, shout out not to Jeff Bezos, but definitely to Amazon and all of the wonderful people that make it possible for us to get our cosplays.
Yes.
But truly, I think that when you can sometimes, like, for example, I'm putting together Sakura from Street Fighter right now. Yay, new cosplay alert. And I'm looking at the listing for the costume and I'm like, that costume is $75. Can I put it together for less than that? Yes. And again, the sketch happens and I kind of like do my thing, but I just went on Amazon and I looked at, she has kind of like a red crop top turtleneck. And I was like, let me see. And they had it on there. And I was like, yes. So, for example, like that, totally got that on Amazon, and even like her gloves and things like that, get that on there. So Amazon is definitely a big one for me. And I think knowing how to shop on there can really help.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like your budget and your time, of course. I also love going to the local thrift store or consignment shop because they always have something that's like kind of weird but perfect, I feel like. Or a cool accessory, that it was often made of like a really nice material or something that would definitely look like it belongs in the universe of whatever it is. So definitely a big fan of the local thrift store. And it's also usually a little bit less expensive than if you were to buy something right off the rack from your local fast fashion shop. So hooray, shout out to them. Also go to craft stores pretty often, Joann's, Michael's, places like that. I mean, certain things you kind of have to because you can't find them anywhere else. And then this is a little bit more rare, but occasionally I will go to a specialty shop for something, where it might cost me a little bit more money, but it's something that it's from an artisan, or it really, really fits in with the vision that I'm trying to create for this character. Where I'm like, okay, it's worth it for me to shell it out, or I really can't make this, and this is an integral part of this cosplay for me. So, okay, I'm gonna go to the specialty shop or specialty artisan of some kind, and I'm gonna have it made. Like I don't have a 3D printer, for example, so I did Daisy from the Mario Brothers series, at Colossal Con a couple of years back. I did not have the time to make her crown. I did not have the budget to go out and start getting a 3D printer and doing that whole thing. So I actually ordered one off of Etsy and was able to kind of, make it work for my cosplay in it. And it was great. So that's where I would say I get most of my things from. Also Manhattan Wardrobe Supply down in the city. Shout out to them. They carry a lot of amazing cosplay stuff, as well as really great makeup, makeup, special effects makeup and things like that, for your cosplay purposes. So yay.
Yeah. So you just kind of like shop around like everywhere, see what you can just bring together.
Yes. But like I feel like I've said this a million times. My time is money. And for example, Jake and I just went to New York Comic Con and we had masks, a different mask for every one of our cosplays that we did, which was really cool and really exciting. And I was like, okay, where can I find solid color masks in the exact colors that I need them and everything like that? Could I have bought them? I'm sure I could have, but it was getting down to the wire. Time was kind of running out. And I'm saying to myself, I can't find 2 red masks, 2 pink masks. I can't find this stuff. So I went to the fabric store. I got some fabric and I made them. And it worked out really, really well. I got exactly what I wanted. And so that's kind of an example of like for in that, the making was the better option for me as opposed to buying, even though buying probably would have been easier, but finding it would have been more difficult, if that makes sense. So
perfect sense.
Right. And then I would have had to spend even more money trying to get them in time because it took so long to find them. So it was like, I'm making this, we got this, and pulled out my sewing machine, made them, and then I got out my Cricut, cut out the vinyl, ironed that on, bam, and they looked great. So that was that. Yeah.
And Louis goes to Goodwill.
Oh yeah, Goodwill, absolutely. Good one. Goodwill, in the spirit of our upcoming holiday too, is great for Halloween costumes. You can find something that's maybe a little worn, because sometimes thrift stores have stuff that's a little bit more worn, and that you kind of feel less bad about maybe tearing up a little bit. And I mean, you could make a great, undead character or, battle worn character, right, from some of the stuff that you have there. Or you could get, if you say you want to be Gomez from the Addams Family, right? You could get, I'm sure you could find a black and gray striped suit there of some kind, and it would be a lot less expensive than if you went to like Men's Warehouse or some other expensive fancy suit store and got it. So, I say go for it. Good on you. Goodwill. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like the way I look for stuff, I kind of like try to like think ahead, if that makes sense, and try to like, of course I have that vision in my head and I'm like what can I possibly use for this? And like if I see it and I'm like, can I use it? And if the answer is yes, then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get it and put it aside for when I'm ready to use it. So
100%. That's actually funny that you say that. I said before, my Maria Hill outfit it's a wetsuit. I got the wetsuit from Goodwill I think I was in my junior year of college. So that was a minute ago. That was like 2013. I'm dating myself. But I saw it and I was like, I think I'll use this at some point. There we go. I used it for Maria Hill years later in, I think, 2019. So I have had it a really long time. But like you said, if you see something and you're like, ooh, I think I could use that for something. Or multiple things, maybe.
Yeah.
Even better. I say go for it. And that's another thing. So like, see, I have so many things to say. I can't even deal with it.
Go for it.
It's like, that's also kind of gets into like, if you can wear it as regular clothing, that can sort of justify the cost of it sometimes too, right? So
yeah,
I have red Converse that I got. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember what cosplay I got them for. But I wear them all the time. I mean, they're red Converse. Who wouldn't want to wear them, right? And now I can use them for Sakura as well. So I'm like, yes, very good. And I think especially with footwear, if you could use it in real life, like please do. And even like I do Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and everything. And her skirt and the shirt, I wear all the time in daily life. So again, wear it. If it's something that you buy and you're like, it cost me a little bit more than I wanted, but I'm going to wear it all the time and it's going to be fine. Power to you. Go for it. Yes. Yay.
Definitely makes it worth it when you can use it more than once.
Absolutely. Maybe you don't wear your spider suit to the office, but
definitely not.
Maybe for Halloween you could, I guess.
I would definitely get some looks.
Yeah. Maybe like casual Fridays. Or if you're on Zoom, I mean, you could wear whatever you want, right? As long as you kind of uncover your face once in a while, like, yes, I'm here. I'm not asleep. So it's funny.
Right. So do you have a dream cosplay?
Gosh,
I have several.
Yeah, I have several. I guess the two that I'll mention, first is Edelgard from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I love Fire Emblem so much. And Edelgard is just so cool. She's so cool in my eyes. And really is kind of like, I'm doing what I have to do and no one's going to get in my way. And I love her attitude about things that I'm like, oh my God, I have to cosplay Edelgard. And there's a version of her in Fire Emblem Heroes, which is the Fire Emblem mobile game. It's very, very good. And it's called Brave Edelgard. And she's this like, she has so much armor on, more than like what you would see in the standard game. And it's so cool. And I'm like, oh boy, I have to build that at some point. So that one would be like a Katsu build for me. I don't know if it will happen for this one. Maybe, who knows? But I'd like to start that sometime soon. And my other dream cosplay, again, because I'm only mentioning two, otherwise I'll go off for hours, is actually Sailor Moon. So fun fact, Sailor Moon has been a part of my life since I can remember. I actually like tear up when I hear the theme song. It's very nostalgic for me. And for the longest time, even though Sailor Mercury was my first cosplay, I sort of avoided cosplaying Sailor Moon herself because she means so much to me that I was afraid I wouldn't do her justice. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to make sure that it's like really right and everything like that. And lovely Jake got me, he works with an amazing wig stylist named Kyrie, Ka0RII0, I believe, on Instagram. You can find her on my page for many of the wigs that I have. And he got a Sailor Moon wig made for me. And it looks it's so beautiful. So now I really feel motivated. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sew her outfit. It's going to be great. And I just really feel like that was the little push I needed to sort of, get working and get on it and make the dream a reality. Right. So I would say that those are the two right now that I'm dreaming of. How about you? Do you have a dream cosplay? I'd love to hear about it if you do.
Like I'm sure you can relate, but like the cosplay list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
One cosplay that I would love to do is some type of Iron Man suit.
Ooh, that would be cool. I could see it. Would you go more for Iron Man or more for like Rescue, like Pepper Potts Rescue?
Although I do love Rescue suit, but I think I would put my own twist on it and make like an Iron Man suit, but with like Fantastic Four colors because I love Fantastic Four.
Oh, I couldn't tell, right? No, I'm just kidding with you. But that would be cool. The arc reactor, you could make like the symbol of the four, and Oh, I could see it. I say go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
a couple lights, some lights there. Ooh, I'm excited just thinking about it.
It would take me a while but I would love to make something like that.
We call it a labor of love, right? Yeah. Definitely. I think there are quite a few cosplays that are labors of love where you're like, oh boy, this is so much work, but it's so worth it. So
yeah. Like, I mean, I try to put like as much like joy into all my cosplays that I do. So because every one of them means something to me, and so it works.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're not enjoying yourself, why do it, right? And if you're not feeling the love from within, for what you're doing, what's the point, and I will say too, like there are some times where you think you're going to love being a character and then you try it on and you're like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe you have to tweak it for yourself or whatever, because something just doesn't kind of feel right and the whole way of it, and that's okay too. But I think like, what you said, like you have to feel that joy That's such a big part of it. I think not only for you and I, but for also, like, I would say many cosplayers, you got to feel the joy.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
it's what it's all about, really.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Okay.
How has cosplay impacted your life?
Oh my gosh. I mean, in such a huge way. I feel like it's like my second job, third job technically, because I have two jobs. It is. It's like a part of me that's like, oh, I feel like this was always here, even though in the grand scheme of my life, it's a little bit more recent. I mean, just the people that I've been able to meet and things I've been able to do. I mean, I met my boyfriend through cosplay. I met Jake through cosplay. I've met some of my most dear friends. I've met my Avengers family. You know, I've met so many amazing people through this hobby. It really has allowed me to express my creativity in a different and unique way, especially kind of, you know, not really being into the theater and costume scene as much as I was when I was in college. It kind of brings me back to that place of curiosity and inquisitiveness and how can I solve this wonderful and unique problem, you know, because this is a drawn character and I have to make their costume, you know, how can I do this? And also New York Comic Con 2018, about 3 days before, actually, no, it was 2 days before the convention, we had a really bad flood in my house and we had to move out of my house for about 35 days. So, wow. And my parents said to me, Rebecca, you have to go to the convention. And I was like, but this major, terrible life event just happened. Like, oh my gosh, you know, how could I possibly go? And they're like, you have to go. You have to go and have fun and enjoy yourself and be there. And I think that especially at that time when I was just so sad and feeling so uprooted, it really just comforted me in so many ways and really helped me get through it, because it took my mind off of it, you know, for those 4 days. And then again, through the people that I met, you know, subsequently after, it really helped to bring about a wonderful positive thing in my life out of a time when it was, you know, pretty sad and pretty big change. So yeah. It's so important to me, and I wish that it didn't take up as much of my wallet as it does. But it's like right. The negative thing. Oh, this is so much money, but it's allowed me to solve so many crazy, cool, unique problems and meet awesome people. And you know, what more could you want than that when it comes to a hobby? So yeah. Like yourself, amazing people like you. I mean, look, if we never met through social media, through cosplay, right? Because we're both cosplayers. We wouldn't be sitting here chatting right now, and I'm having a grand time. I'm having such a nice time, and thank you for letting me just kind of ramble on about the thing I love most. So, you know, it can really bring people together. That's special. Yeah.
I agree with everything you just said, by the way, and I wanted to add to that, like, would you say that it kind of works as like a therapy for you?
Absolutely. It's sort of funny. I find that when I do, you know, if I'm having like, you know, my mind is so jumbled or I'm just not in a great place, I can go and work on something completely out of the normal life span, you know, and that, you know, that's kind of what cosplay is for me. And it just sort of recenters me and brings me back to like the essence of who I am, which is just a creative person, and kind of soothes me, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
And again, there are just wonderful people in this community. Of course, there are some not so good people, but you'll encounter that anywhere. But there are so many wonderful people that really make it worth it, and who have served as great friends and just confidants and stuff. So I would absolutely agree that it is like therapy in many ways.
Yeah. And like the amount of support that like we give each other is like
Mhm.
really important for like our self-esteem and confidence.
Oh,
And
of course. Yeah,
so,
totally.
but getting on what you were saying about all those bad people.
What is my stance on bullying? It's so unnecessary. Like I said before, we're all nerds that dress up as superheroes for fun. Like, come on, guys. Why you got to be like that? You
We're all
know,
the same.
exactly. And I think, living by the golden rule, do unto others as you would want done unto you. I think that's, you wouldn't want anyone bullying you because of your cosplay.
Yeah.
So why put that negative energy out into the universe, and I think that there are not good people in so many different hobbies. There are people that are gatekeepers. There are people that are inappropriate or that make comments that make you uncomfortable or think that they have more authority over your life than they do just because, they know you from social media or something like that. And I think it's important to set boundaries with people like that. But also, I think that we have to stand up for ourselves and, and the people around us. If you see it happening, then don't allow that to happen on your watch. If you see somebody getting bullied or you hear it in a conversation, you can say, hey guys, like we've all been there. We've all been a beginner cosplayer. We've all, had builds fail or we've all had this and that,
Yeah.
Let's not all be so hard on everybody else. And I think too, bullying often comes from a place of insecurity. And it's sort of like, well, if you're bullying other people, you have to kind of look at yourself and say, you know, am I so perfect that I can bully other people? No one is perfect like that. And no one needs to be perfect like that. We're all humans on the rock. We got to all get through this life together. Don't make it harder for people. So
yeah, it's just so unnecessary, and it just makes me sick to my stomach to see anybody getting bullied like that. It's I mean, of course, you're always going to have the haters and the trolls out there,
of course,
wreaking havoc because they have nothing better to do.
But they hide behind a keyboard half the time. Would any of these people have the courage to even say it to your face? Probably not. And that's a reflection on them. If they choose to say something mean to you online, it's like, okay, well, would you say that to my face? Or would you, like, if we were chatting right now and somebody came on our stream and in a video, would they have the courage to say something nasty to us? Probably not. People like to, like I said, they like to kind of be keyboard warriors or hide behind their keyboards. And it's like,
yeah,
come on, take a walk.
Yeah.
Delete their comment and say good riddance to them and block them too. I think if it's on social media, just block them. Because no one needs that kind of negativity in their life. Don't engage with people like that, I say. So
yeah. Not really worth the time and energy to try to combat that.
Definitely not. You definitely and look, it's cosplay. It's supposed to be fun. Don't ruin it for people and then therefore kind of like make it not fun for yourself in the process. Have fun. Just leave people where they are, being their silly, not nice selves, and have a good time. So, yeah.
And the sad part is I've kind of like seen people like actually walk away from cosplay because of bullying going on. So, which is really sad.
I agree with you. Like I said, we are all these kind of nerdy, cool, weirdo people, right? That like all this cool, geeky stuff. And why should we tear each other down when we should all bring each other up? We should all build each other up instead. And it makes me sad when I see people quitting because of the things that other people say or because, you know, social media is sort of this myth of like, oh, well, they got this many likes on their picture and they have this many followers, so therefore they must be better than me at cosplay. And it's like, no, they're not. They are not. It's not like that. It doesn't need to be like that. This is not a popularity contest. And I mean, I think that social media can often make you feel good in some ways. You know, when you feel like people comment on your picture and they write nice things, you know, that can really build you up. But I think that we also need to realize that social media is not necessarily real life, and they don't know that we struggle. They don't, you know, people online don't always know that we struggle or that we have good days and bad days, in the same way that people who are regularly around do, you know, in real life. And I think that we all just need to take a step back once in a while and say, okay, just because this picture didn't get the same likes as this random selfie that I put up doesn't mean that it's not worthy and that it's not worth it and that I'm not worth it, and like, you know, all that stuff. So yeah.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Well, that kind of leads into this question, I guess.
Yes. Any advice for new cosplayers? If it makes you happy, do it. That's the biggest thing.
Yep.
Just do it. And also that, you know, change is okay. Like I said before, if you put on a cosplay that you've been dreaming of doing, say I put on Edelgard and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. You know, it's just not working for me. That's okay. You know, I can change and modify things, or I can just say, this one's not for me. You know, change is okay. And also that your cosplay does not have to look exactly like the character. You can choose to make it look exactly like the character, but you know, you can do a casual version of a cosplay. You could do a crossover. I have so many crossovers in the works of, you know, different shows like spliced together, and you know, just flex those creative muscles and have fun. That's really the biggest thing, is have fun.
Exactly.
And like I said before, if it makes you happy, do it. So as long as you're not hurting anybody, go for it and have a good time. So, and I promise, you know, we're all people, even though we might have, like I said, on social media, things might appear differently. If you're a new cosplayer and you want advice on something, send me a DM, reach out. You know, most people are actually pretty friendly and want to help you. So ask for advice. And if the person is truly a good person, you know, they'll help you out as much as they can. Yeah. So yay. New cosplayers, join our community. I promise for most of us are good. We like to have fun. So yeah. Like
if you get the right people around you, like in your circle, it's definitely worth.
Absolutely. But yeah, it feels good. And that might take time, you know. Like I said, change is okay. You might be around a group and then you're like, you know, I feel like I'm kind of vibing with this other group a little bit more, or, you know, I don't know if I'm, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it just might be that you need something a little bit different out of your community and your circle, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, okay.
And also I wanted to add, like, don't be afraid to put your own spin on things.
Absolutely. 100%. I think that brings such a fun element into things. You know, like I said, I just did my own version of Poison Ivy. Could I have done, you know, like the Uma Thurman version or this particular comic version or whatever? Totally. But I wanted to have fun and do my own design, and I had a blast. And that's why I say, go for it. Do it if it makes you happy, and put your spin on it. Flex those creative muscles, you know, if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, have the courage to just go for it. I promise people will be receptive. So, yay.
And we got another.
Hello. Hello, Misha Necron. Hi, Mr. Becky. You look so pretty and charming today. Thank you very much. What do you think about Poison Ivy? Will you bring back and cosplay as Poison Ivy again? I would like to see you blow pheromone dust. Yeah, I would definitely cosplay Ivy again for sure. There's actually a picture on Jake's profile where I'm kind of like to him, like I'm almost whispering in his ear, but maybe I'll do another little shoot where I have some cool pheromone dust to, blow something cool. Thank you for the suggestion, Misha. I really appreciate it. Thanks for writing in. Yay.
He said, thanks for the inspiration.
You are very welcome. Just keep doing it. Have a good time. And like I said, just if it makes you happy, do it. Go for it. Have fun. Yes.
All right. So since cons seem to be coming back nowadays, what are your suggestions for like what you absolutely need to have when going to a Comic-Con?
Okay. People may call me a bit of a pack rat, but I have quite a few things that I bring with me when I go to a con. I actually have this black backpack. It's like a little black faux leather backpack that I got at Walmart like years ago, I think. It's got some battle damage, but it's the perfect thing to wear, to bring with me to the convention because I can put what I need to put in it for the most part. Because, we're all real people. We all have needs. We're not like characters in The Sims where we could just say, you don't need to go to the bathroom or you don't need the ladder to get out of the pool, no, yeah. We need all these things. So in my black backpack that I bring with me or some kind of bag, I say bring some kind of bag with you. It's just impractical, in my opinion, to think that you can't get around without something, even if it's like if your cosplay has pockets and you just want to travel with your phone and your wallet, you could, but that's not how I prefer to do it. So in my backpack, I pack my my wallet, of course, my phone, an extra phone charger. I always have an extra phone charger. Not necessarily, sometimes I'll have an external battery, but I always have a phone charger with brick because, you never know what can happen and you need your phone to be charged. It's important. As long as the con is allowing it, I would bring in a water bottle or drink of some kind and some snacks. Con food is expensive and it's not always that good. And also have some cash on hand so that if in case you need it, at least you have some cash on you, some money, besides like a debit card, Also you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. So yeah, please bring a water bottle of some kind, don't not drink at a convention and don't not eat either. When you're hungry, eat, please. I often bring a change of shoes, especially if the character has like a heeled boot or just heels, or luckily my Demon Slayer shoes are pretty comfortable, but they're hard wooden shoes. I mean, they are wooden sandals, basically like wooden flip-flops. So I have a pair of Croc sandals. Crocs. But they're so comfortable, after like a long day of walking around the convention that sometimes I just take off the shoes, hop on the Crocs. I'm very happy. And they're pretty light, so that helps too. You can throw them in the bag and it's not too heavy. I think too, having some Advil, or some kind of like pain reliever can help too. No one wants to have like a migraine or like pain at a con. No one wants to have that happen. So Advil, is important. And also maybe some super glue and a sewing kit. Unless you have amazing people at the convention who are willing to help you fix your cosplay for you. I think the Paladins of Cosplay did that at New York Comic Con, which was super helpful. They came, with all different kinds of things, but sewing kit, safety pins, and some glue. And this is all, if it's not like a hotel convention like how Katsu is. If it's a hotel convention, you bring your wallet and your phone maybe, and that's really it. You don't really need much more than that. But if it's the kind where you are going somewhere and you need to, you don't have maybe like a hotel room to go back to, all of these things, in my opinion, are necessary. And always bring a smile. Always bring a smile with you to the con. And a good, fun-loving attitude. and bring the joy. Just bring it along with you. We all just gotta have fun. So, yay.
Yeah. Especially not like going to cons for so long because of you know what. So it is really nice to be able to go to cons again.
I agree entirely. Yeah, and also, like I said, remember that you're a real person. Take a break. You know, if you need to leave the con, don't feel ashamed. If you're like, my social meter is just through the roof, it's like up to here. I need to go. I need to go and leave for a little bit and just get some air.
Yeah, just take a break.
Take a break. Exactly. There is nothing wrong with that. And if anybody tries to, you know, give you a problem with something like that, then they're not the kind of person that you want around you. You know, take your break and do what you have to do. So, because we're all people, and you don't want your human need for, you know, a break from people to kill your joy of the hobby. You know, you don't want to kill the joy. You want to promote the joy. So yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that is all the cosplay questions I have. So I do have a few like other questions.
Go for it. I will answer them to the best of my ability.
All right. So I know that you are also an artist, so I was just wondering like how long you've been drawing and painting and such.
Oh boy. It's been a long time. I have so many drawings from when I'm a little kid. I've been drawing for a really long time, and I think anime, you know, and watching Sailor Moon and Toonami and things like that when I was younger, even just cartoons, you know, really promoted that for me in my life. And painting, it's just always been there. Painting is sort of my thing to do when I really need to kind of unwind and calm down. And I feel like I'm like a paint hoarder. I just love buying acrylic paints and like, oh, look at this paint. It's so pretty. Like, oh, I love this paint. And everyone's like, Rebecca, you have like 40 greens. Why do you need another green? I'm like, it's like slightly different green, you know, and that's like my thing. It's like paint. My mom's like, I could hear her in the background. She's like, yeah, she's got a lot of paint. So I guess, I mean, I'm 28. As long as I could have held the pencil or put my paint in hands and put it on paper, I have been doing that. And it's great. I've done some pre-college programs for art, you know, when I was in high school, and again, lucky enough to have been able to study costume design and even studied abroad for art at one point. So that was really amazing. And you know, and I'm very grateful that I had those opportunities to be able to explore my my artistic side. And I do a lot of digital art now as well, which is really cool. So, yay, art.
And that's one of the things I love about cosplay too. Like we get to kind of expand our artistic skills.
Yes,
cosplay.
Yes. And I've been very lucky that my parents have been supportive of that for me. And really my whole family in general, but especially my parents, they've been helpful in fostering that love of weird, zany costumes and creativity. And okay, Rebecca, let's take a picture of you in your cosplay before you go to the con, you know, like it's really sweet. And I feel very lucky. So, yay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Three Musketeers.
Mm-hmm.
So how about photography?
That's a good question. So I take a lot of pictures of water, running water. It's like something I actually really love to photograph. And for me, I think it's knowing that I can never take the same picture twice. You know, and really, I think in general, you can't really take the same picture twice. And I think that there's something that's really unique and cool about that. It's like a fleeting moment captured in time. And I think too, you know, when you look at something through a camera, it can look so different in a good and bad way, you know, or just in different ways than when you look at it with your eyes in real life, you know, and you can take something, you know, you could walk through the woods and be like, oh, well, you know, this is not really, it's beautiful, but it's not the most exciting thing. But then you kind of find like a leaf that's like, oh, wow, look at that leaf. Or I framed the trees in this certain way for this shot and it just completely transformed it. So I think that a camera allows you, you know, in photography in general, really allows you to look at the world in a different way. I think that's probably what I love most about it. And I also, I did like a small series where I created, I called it the Queen's Letter. And it was like, I set up this sort of scene in my room. And it was physically, I had such little space and I was, you know, contorting myself around the tripod, using my hand in the frame of the picture, trying to take it, you know, and this whole thing. And they came out looking like paintings. And it was just this wonderful artistic moment of personal success and achievement that I was like, oh, this is so cool and so great. I am so, art is amazing. Photography is amazing. Just, whoa. It has allowed me to expand my creativity in many interesting and different ways. So yay, photography. Yeah. And hopefully I'll shoot some more cosplayers. But I have a blast editing, you know, the cool effects into the cosplay pictures. And yeah, it's really fun. So maybe one day.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like editing too.
It's fun. That is for sure. It is really fun. So
do you use Photoshop or what do you use?
I use Photoshop for sure. I use Photoshop. I use Procreate as well. Procreate is a drawing application for the iPad Pro. So they have a version for the phone as well, I think, Procreate Pocket, but I use the iPhone one. So for example, Jake had a photo where he wanted like a water dragon to be in this photo. And I couldn't find one that I really liked, you know, in the image searches that I was doing. And I was like, you know what, we're drawing a water dragon. So I drew it in Procreate, drew it digitally in Procreate, and then I imported it into Photoshop and blended it really cool way. And I was like, yeah, I like this. This is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And you know, I think different programs, like you could work, you know, kind of across both of them, and it's really fun and cool. And so I use Photoshop fairly often, and Camera Raw, which actually is technically a separate application. When you shoot in RAW, you know, it allows you to adjust so many different aspects of it. But I also, like, I guess if I'm editing on my phone, so, you know, quick shot with the cell phone or whatnot, I will use, I particularly like PicsArt, it's called, PICSART. They have a lot of great features and they really keep the resolution of the photo in a great resolution, and, you know, they don't compromise the quality, which is really important to me. And then also, I love the filters in, it's called A Color Story. So A Color Story, but like all one word. And I've bought, I can't tell you how many of their filter packs because they are beautiful. So you might see in the description, like, edited by me using A Color Story. You know, and I'm not ashamed to admit, once in a while I break out the Facetune. I'm not even gonna lie. I use it honestly for smoothing out like wrinkles in my costume more than anything else. You know, I think that we're all people and we can embrace ourselves, but there's also no reason to feel, if you want to fix a blemish, that you can't do that. You know, it's fine. So
yeah,
that's what I do. Yeah. Yay.
Right. So I think that's pretty much all I have for tonight.
Okay. Whoa, this was great though. I mean, look at us, an hour and 10 minutes, and we had a blast just chatting and talking. You know, look at that. That's the beauty of cosplay, bringing people together, like-minded individuals, bringing us together, and
yeah,
you know, able to have a great conversation and just have some fun. So
yeah,
really appreciate
one of the reasons why I wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you having me on the show. And also for being sympathetic to the con crunch. Because I remember you reaching out to me like right before New York Comic Con. I was like, and you're like, well, let's do it after the convention. I was like, thank you so much. I can't breathe right now. I'm making masks. So I just really appreciate that. Thank you. Now, and see, look, if you weren't a cosplayer, you wouldn't understand. Like, the struggle is real, So
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for that.
I'm actually kind of feeling that right now because I'm actually going to be at a con this weekend. So,
oh, cool! What convention are you going to?
Baltimore Comic-Con.
Oh, very nice. Have a great time. Can't wait to see photos. That's going to be cool. What are you going to wear? Do you know what your lineup is yet? Or
actually posted it.
Oh, okay. I will have to go and check it out. I've been like on and off Instagram the last couple of days. I'm like, I just started a new job, so I'm a little crazy, but I can't wait to go see what it is. Yay! So
yeah, I'm going with some friends that I met on Twitch actually, and it'll be the first time we're meeting in real life, so that's even cooler.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Oh, that makes me so happy. That warms my heart. Oh boy, that's wonderful. I hope that you guys have a great time. That it's not
thank you.
too cold, hopefully, or not too hot either. It's like a good medium, pleasant temperature.
Well, so far I think the weather is going to be like in the 60s, like low 70s. That's like
ideal. Perfect. Yes, that's very good.
So I'm really excited.
Yay! Oh, that's going to be really fun. Like I said, I can't wait to see photos. You're gonna have a great time. So yay!
All right. So before we wrap this up, do you want to share anything that you're working on or is coming?
Well, you can expect a lot more Demon Slayer content coming. Yay. And some crossovers with that too. Perhaps some Naruto or some Marvel. We'll see. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. And some Street Fighter coming up. Like I said, Sakura is going to come up soon. Very excited for that. And Anime NYC is coming, so stay tuned. Lineup should be finalized, hopefully sometime soon. It's also a little weather dependent, but yeah, keep your eyes out for some cool anime stuff coming up. So, nice. Yay.
So anyone who's watching, all of Rebecca's links are in the description box below for her cosplays, her art, and her photography. So go check all of them out. Rebecca, you are amazing.
Oh, so are you.
And thank you so much for coming on here and chatting. So it was so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. It was really, the pleasure was all mine, I assure you. So thank you so much for having me. I hope we get to chat again sometime like this.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hopefully soon we'll get to actually chat in person.
Gosh, I know. Hopefully before Katsu, but if not, Katsu 2022, let's do it.
Yes.
Yay.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. Ooh, double cross. Yes.
All right. So like I said, that's all we got for tonight, and we will see you next time for whenever that episode will be. I'm not sure.
Hey. Well, it'll happen when it happens. That's all that matters. Yeah, thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it. I had a wonderful time.
Of course.
Yay.
I hope everyone has a great night and rest of the week and weekend.
I agree. So. Have fun, guys.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night.